Ladies, gents, good morning, good afternoon, maybe good evening. That depends where you are. Friday, January 17th. Piotr here, this is Light Forex Global YouTube channel, and we are going to discuss metals today. We are going to discuss gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. So, without further delay, let's straight jump into the charts and let's start with the gold. Okay, so overall that's the daily chart on the gold. It might looks even better on the weekly, some kind of the flag and break out of the flag. We can try to visualize this one like this, attempt to break with upper shadow previous week, right? With upper shadow previous week, some kind of the rejection, but basically from that perspective, still, in my opinion, right, while above 1500, right, while above 1500, still possibility that we are going to see higher levels from here, right? Now basically here on the weekly chart, trying to zoom it out a bit, what could be next target, right, in case of the market will take out the current high, right? What could be the next target? I would say we have quite few, all right, and the first one is gonna be levels close to 1640, right, and then again 1670, and finally, based on this weekly chart, of course it's not gonna happen overnight, talking about 1800, and probably if we are going to be strong enough to get there, the stops over here, so towards 2000, that could be the case. That's how it looks on the gold chart perspective from the weekly chart. Let's have a look what we have on daily. Let's switch a little bit lower. We've seen this huge spike to the upside, right, with rejection, the gap over here being closed, right? But come on, I can't see, the deeper move to the downside. Even when we are talking about this upper shadow, this rejection, right? Well, I can't see the pressure to the downside right now, right here. We have the possible level of demand, which trying to hold the market here and works fine. Some stops and market is trying to reverse from here. In case we are going to give up and we are going to close below 1540, in that case, then the 15 level might be in play. That's what we discussed based on the weekly chart, right? In that case, this zone over here, right? But that corresponds with the retest of the consolidation ahead of this break to the upside. So that could be that's not going to be. I mean, as long as we are holding above 1500, everything should be fine from the bull's perspective. The situation is about to change with daily and weekly close below 1500 on the gold, right? That's how I see the things here. So, trying to make the summary, either bulls are gonna to start to rise right here, right now, or we are going to see a little bit of the breakdown and then from the levels close to 1500, then we are going to see the rally 1640, 1670 as the first target here on the gold. Let's have a look what we have on the silver. It looks a little bit differently. There is some kind of the consolidation going on. So with when we are trying to compare gold and silver, so lately, as you can see, silver is a little bit weaker, but trying to hold 1650. All right, so trying to hold from this daily chart perspective, trying to hold this breakout, right? So there was a huge weakness to the downside, right? Then was the retest of that supply, another rejection, breakout, retest, attempt to continuation. All right, so that's how it looks on the weekly chart. So meaning that as long as we are holding this down, the phase of the consolidation gonna to take place ahead of the upside continuation, most probably. And based on this weekly chart, we are talking about that zone as a next possible target. We are talking about the levels close to 2150 based on my chart. Also, we are not gonna discover America. 1-to-1 is about to bring us that level as well. So that's how I see the things on the weekly chart. Let's have a look what we have from the daily chart perspective. All right, so from the daily chart perspective, we can have this type of the channel, right? We have some kind of the breakout, upside break, and right now, right here, we have retest, right? So pullback, and we should see soon attempt to continuation to the upside. That's the first thing. It's very similar to what we discussed on the gold, that we might see the attempt to rally right here, right now. But in case of the failure, right, we have this in case of the failure here, right, and attempt to move a little bit lower, right? So it might be like this one, attempt another pullback and retest of the 50% of that consolidation, which is right also seeing with this low, and from here eventually from the levels below, a little bit below 17, finally to see the rally towards 2150. So that's how I see the things on the bull side on the silver. Move and weekly and daily close below 17, that could be the challenge for the bulls. 1650, all right. So next one, Palladium. And here, guys, well, everything is bubble fed. Fed is doing bubbles around the globe. Anyway, what is important? The important thing is to take into the consideration where we are right now. I know it might be some kind of the FOMO, fear of missing out. But I would be very, very careful at this stage here, right? We might see some kind of the profit taking, all right? I think we might be close. And your homework, guys, here is, because clearly we are right now in a rising trend, so there is nothing to discuss. But what's your homework? Check the distance here, and check the distance, and especially the speed up here after the break of that consolidation. All right, that's gonna to tell you why I think some kind of the even ugly correction, ugly profit taking could take place here. So I would be very, very careful. And in that case, if we see huge pullback, I think we might target levels around 1950 1900. Right, so be careful, guys. Here, don't try to chase that market. And the last one, where some kind of the correction is also possible, in my opinion, is platinum. All right, and why I think the correction is possible here, taking into the consideration the past, right? Okay, and now taking into the consideration the current price action from yesterday. All right, nice rejection. So overall, from that perspective, and if you remember some time ago, we prepared similar video when I've been talking only about the metals, and so we were discussing that in case of the short, maybe here could be the solution. And finally, we hit the levels. So overall, the task today is to watch the levels between yesterday high and the Wednesday high, and switching lower to the lower time frame, watching for the possible reversal around these levels, and a little bit lower levels towards the end of the next week. So as you can see, switching to the intraday chart, retest of 1030, and watching the price action here, and that could be the solution. So that's it when it comes to the metals, guys. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure to be with you here, and see you around, guys. Thank you, take care, and goodbye.